Good morning. I know that some of you have to work. You may or may not be on the call. Always, the Zoom call is going to have an invitation sent out to your email, and it is also going to be present for you um, anytime that you want to go back and review it. So these Zoom meetings are always recorded, and it's important that you understand. You really need to look at these. You really need to be involved. So this week, here's a discussion of the first week. This is research methods. The important part about research methods to understand is learning to ask good questions. Now, the fancy name for that in English is, everyday English in research terms, is to say a hypothesis, to create or formulate a hypothesis, or create a research question. You do this every single time you work with a client. They come through the door, you have some basic information, you begin to engage with them, and then you begin to understand, okay, these questions, I need to ask these questions. This seems to be where this is going. And then working with a client, the hypothesis is, I believe that this person is depressed. My hypothesis is that my client is depressed. Once you have a hypothesis, then you have to ask a good question. And the good question is, what is the best way to help this client with their depression? If you go watch the movie I, Robot with Will Smith, he is given this hologram and he interacts with it. And it always says, I'm not programmed to answer that question. You must ask the right question. And then at the end, when it all starts to come together, he asks it a question, and the response from the hologram is, now you have asked the right question. That's what we do every single day we work with a client. We learn to ask the right question. Research is a way of making that a consistent series of questions to ask, a consistent way to go about asking them. It's going to be very important as you move through this course to learn to ask those questions. It's also going to be very important that you ask me questions when you don't understand something. In general, you can go to the main page and there are handouts. The handouts, one of them is called an RFP, and next to it is a Human Services RFP. That's a request for proposals. This is a real one that was done a few years ago in that particular town. Read it. The first thing you're going to do is to do some research to understand that town. You can do all of that online. You can figure out how many people in poverty or how many elderly. All of that's available online, either directly in that county, in that state, or through national data. This is a research class, so learn to go find those answers. If you're not finding them, let me know. I want you to understand also that this is step by step. There is a handout that's the work plan framework, logic models, assessment models, all of the things you need to do the assignment piece by piece. But there are some things here I want you to also pay attention to. There's a handout about how to study. There's a handout, I strongly suggest you go look at this one, how to make a mind map. Okay? That will help you to write. There's also one on how to write a hypothesis, how to do a literature review, plus the PowerPoints for the actual book. Everything you need to be successful in this class is in the handouts. Plus, each week we'll have this Zoom meeting and you'll have the opportunity to directly ask me questions. Please understand that if you don't ask, I don't know what it is you don't understand. And I assume if you're not asking me that you get it, that you understand it. So let's be clear about that, and let's be sure that we get those things done. Now, the next part of this is always go look in. I'm looking at the classroom portal right now. Always go look at the main page. It'll have announcements. Always check your email. It will have announcements. And I'm sorry, we have to use your Jarvis student email. Those things are all sent to you, and you need to go and look at them. The Zoom meeting is going to be at 11 o'clock on Thursdays every week. So it's important that as we move through this, you ask good questions of me, and that most of all, you go back and look at the first week where I sent out information about welcome back. Here's what you need to know. You need to immediately, if you haven't done so, print out the syllabus. You need to make a list of the assignments and their due dates. Do not get behind. Most of the people that are struggling with doing this online at Jarvis, it's because it's too easy to get distracted and not get your work done. I've been at Jarvis a long time. I know our students. You all wait till the last minute to get things done. That's not going to work in this environment. You can do this if you do it step by step. It's harder to make yourself do it when you're sitting at home and you may have work to go to or people around, whatever it is. But you need to make a list and get the work done. This Zoom meeting, every Zoom meeting will be uploaded. You'll be able to watch it later. If you have to work, I know I have one or two students that are working a lot of hours. And I get it, that's how we pay for school. So be sure and do those things that I've suggested. Be sure and ask me questions. Be sure and attend or at least listen to the Zoom meetings and look at the handouts. The other thing is go look at the coursework. It is listed. I have just corrected it so that it's accurate. Everything is due at a particular day. Quizzes are every week, and they're due at a particular time. Take the quizzes, work, don't rush through, don't guess. Spend some time taking the quiz. That's points for you to get to make a good grade. At the end of this semester, if you follow the syllabus and you follow the assignments, you will have learned, one, how to do research and discover information. But more importantly, you will have learned how to write a grant. That is really important. We have to have money to get paid, right? So it's important that you know how to do a grant, how to write it, how to complete that information. It's all there. You must check in. You must be on the website, in the portal. I have a counter that runs all the time, and it tells me how often you check in, what you look at, and how much time you spend. So I have to take attendance. We're attendance driven at Jarvis. It's important that you understand, if I don't see you checking in, you're going to get an email from me saying, you haven't checked in a while. What's going on? How do we get this done? Attendance is part of your grade. In social work, that's professionalism. Professionalism is being on time, being where you're supposed to be, turning your work in on time, how you approach your work, your attitude toward those things. All of that's being graded. If you just do your work and do your job, suddenly you'll discover those are some really easy points. So again, this class, especially this first week, is about how to ask good questions, how to think about that, how to go about those things that will make you a good social worker, asking good questions. The other research class is about how to analyze the answers to those questions. So see, it's not a lot of math, it's not those things. You can understand a little bit, but not much. You must get the book. It is the same book for this course and the other research course. Now, I have posted in the portal, if you go to handouts, it has the PowerPoints. Read the PowerPoints until your book comes in. Information is there. Some of you already have my cell phone number. Here's how we should do things. If you have questions, first of all, send me an email. I'll answer within, depending on the day, 24 to 48 hours. Send it to me. And then if we can't get it resolved that way, we'll talk on the phone. It is imperative that you keep up with your work. Otherwise, if you get behind in the online environment, it's really hard to catch up. It's important you ask your questions. That's one of the reasons to have these Zoom meetings, so I can see you, you can see me and hear me, and I can hear your questions. Again, these meetings are always recorded. They'll always be posted afterward in the portal. And so what I need you to do is to be sure, I'm checking, no one is checked in. I'm checking to make sure that you are aware of what we're doing and that you get it done. Contact me. Let me know what you need.